And we are live. Hello, one and all, and welcome to episode 5 of the Giza Wrestling Report. And with me, as I usually do, I bring on a special guest. And with me, I have my good friend, Mike. Mike, I want to say thank you for joining me. This is your first ever time on the Giza Wrestling Report, and it's great to have you on.
Yes, indeed, Dan. I've been looking forward to a while now. Glad I finally got the time to get on here for an hour or two and discuss some stuff with you.
Sure, and thank you for everyone that is tuning in live to watch this, as you know how this is. This is basically a breakdown of the top news stories for the week of October 9th up to today. So we certainly have a lot of ground to cover, and it's great to be back with one of these. I didn't do one last week because it was just a really hectic week. As you all know, No Mercy was last week. So I just figured in the case of a pay-per-view happening, it's just better to take a week off and then come back swinging. So yeah, without further ado, I really enjoy providing these to you guys. So like I said, we have a lot to cover on this week's edition of the Giza Wrestling Report. And without further ado, let's talk about our first topic, which spans, as you can see, Mike, several articles here, which I'm going to have to read before we discuss our thoughts. Of course, all articles come from WrestleZone.com, so I want to give the credit to them. Of course, as you know how the format of the show goes, we'll read the articles to you, and then we will give our various opinions on how we feel about these stories. So let's talk about Paige. It's been a major talk of the industry, yes. And as you can see, we have a lot to talk about Paige. Let's get the cat out of the bag, Mike. Let's start with this first topic. Let me read it. As we found out this week, Paige has been suspended by WWE for 60 days. This is, of course, folks, her second violation of the company's talent wellness policy. It was reported late last week that Paige was out of action due to a neck injury. Reports were suggesting that she was nearing a return before injuring her neck, and she tweeted on the 29th of September that she was going to opt for neck surgery. And here's what Paige had to say about the suspension on Twitter. Same shit, different day. Kids, please don't get prescriptions or doctor notes. Not acceptable. Rules apply depending on your status. Furthermore, let's talk about this next article because this all ties in together. So I got a lot to get off my chest here about Paige. In this next article, as noted, WWE star Paige was suspended for 60 days. And this is what her father, Ricky Knight, had to say on the following Facebook page, noting that Paige has been on prescribed painkillers to deal with an ongoing neck injury. And this is what he wrote. Okay, here we go again. Yes, I know about my daughter suspended once again. She has not failed a drug test. My daughter has had a long-term neck injury with which has not been dealt with. I asked my daughter to return to the UK for help with this injury, as help and direction in the USA has not been forthcoming. She has been in pain and out of in-ring action for a fair while now and has been prescribed painkillers, which apparently is against the wellness policy. I feel my daughter has been let down big time in the United States, and the proper care and advice needed in the position she has been in has not happened. To say I am pissed off with the situation is an understatement. This is my statement. I am not open to questions. Thank you for your cooperation. Paige's mother, Sarah Knight, took to Facebook, and this is what she had to say. Sometimes letting out a scream just doesn't sound loud enough. Banging your head against a wall doesn't reach the spot. Closing down emotionally causes inner demons to surface. Asking for help creates rumors. Being in a sea of people, but being alone, sometimes life just sucks. And Mike, we continue here. Here's what Alberto Del Rio had to say. He said in this statement about Paige being suspended, he said, it's just like she said in her statement this afternoon. It's the same shit, different day, my friend. And this is what Del Rio said about the rumors that WWE tried to break him and Paige up, as he had the following to say. To be honest, I don't care what they say or what they try to do. We are together and we are happy. I know a lot of people are not happy, but regardless of whatever people say, we can be happy. We can be together and we are going to stay together because we are happy. If someone is not comfortable or happy about it, we just don't care. We are going to continue our life. Our families are happy and we're happy. And that's all that matters. And a couple more. We got 2 more here, folks, and then we will discuss this. Like I said, this is a huge – just want to get all the facts out there. WWE released a statement to the New York Post, and this is responding to the above claims that Paige's parents said. And this is very unlike WWE to release a follow-up statement to a wellness policy suspension. It says, Paige tested positive for an illegal substance, not a prescription drug. In addition, WWE is providing world-class medical care for her in-ring injury. And I also found this interesting article from PWInsider.com, which confirmed that Paige will be undergoing neck surgery and will likely sideline her for 6 to 9 months. And this is the interesting note here. Pay attention to this. Right now, a big issue between Paige and WWE reportedly is the need for surgery, as Paige's doctors are claiming she needs it. Well, WWE doctors don't feel the procedure is necessary. And if that's the case, WWE might not pay for it. I can finally breathe. Man. With all of that out of the way, Mike, I'll let you take the floor because I did a whole hell of a lot of talking. What is your thoughts and opinions on this entire Paige situation?
It's all a legit coincidence, first off. As we all know, Paige first got suspended after Del Rio himself got suspended. And then, of course, Del Rio leaves. And it was obviously that, Del Rio already was having personal issues with WWE himself because, as, you and I have discussed plenty of times before, it just didn't seem like he was really happy there. He was more there for the money. I saw a video of wherever he went back to after he left WWE, and I just saw the difference in him. I just saw he was at. And then with Paige in the equation, and obviously they split them up, I don't want to get deep into their personal life, but there obviously is something else going on that we aren't completely being aware of or anything like that. But I don't know if it's because if because of Del Rio's relationship with the WWE himself or something like that. That's why they're trying to get into the middle of those two. But it does seem like something is going on with them and Paige, something a little more personal is going on. And in my opinion, besides just the neck surgery going away, I do think, and I hate to say this because I'm a huge Paige fan, I would love to see her back as soon as possible. I was really excited when I heard that she wasn't leaving WWE, but I heard about this neck injury and then the suspension. I think it's time that once she's recovered, she should maybe go somewhere else.
Take a break
and maybe go somewhere else. Rebrand herself pretty much. You know what I mean? Have her, or bring back, people talk about the anti-diva gimmick she used to have. I didn't really see much of that yet because I wasn't watching NXT yet before she came to the main roster. But, I mean, she needs to find something else to just make her happy to have her back in WWE, and that way cooler heads could eventually prevail, you know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, think about it. One more suspension, and she's gone. And if she would come back, she would still have 2 strikes against her. So the possibility of her being thrown out again, it could very well happen. I'm worried that she's trying to get herself fired from the company, which I think is a bad move on her part. Just throwing it out there because she is, remember, folks, she is only 24 years old. She has a long career, whatever she decides to pursue. If she still continues to want to wrestle, start a family, whatnot, I mean, she has her whole life ahead of her. And I would hate to see her ruin her relationship with WWE. So I agree with Mike here. I'm thinking she needs to, leave the company on the best amicable terms that are possible at this point in order to avoid a third wellness policy suspension, because this has been really quick. I haven't seen this, a rapid wellness policy suspension really almost, back-to-back months in a long time.
They're all just racking up no tomorrow. Ever since the Reigns suspension, there was Eva Marie also, and Del Rio, Paige. Sure. Anybody else?
Not Brock Lesnar, but that's
no, not Brock Lesnar.
No, can't do that. It's a double standard. But the point is, I really hope for the best for Paige in this situation. It was an interesting note in this story when they said that she was on, what did it say?
Painkillers, something like that.
Let me go back. She tested positive for an illegal substance, which was not a prescription drug, which led to some people speculating possibly maybe cocaine or marijuana. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate, but it is interesting. And then, of course, you heard about, Del Rio getting stabbed, and then the story about that changing multiple times. So it's just the situation with Paige and Del Rio.
It's just chaotic.
It's been chaotic, and we don't really know where it's headed next. I hope it works out for both of them. I don't want to see anything possibly life-threatening happening to either of them. It would be a shame to see a tragedy happen in this situation, but it's something you have to keep an eye on. It just seems like things are spiraling down out of control, and I just hope, the best arises out of this situation. Mike, any other thoughts you want to say about Paige and this situation?
Just like you said, hope for the best. She's only a year older than us. She has so much more ahead of herself in her life. I mean, she was fortunate to be into WWE at the age of like what 21 she was when she first
21,
came
I
up?
believe. Yes.
And then I'm thinking, oh, this is someone who's a big star. She's going to be like, you know, racking up championships. And then her momentum got slowed down, and then, you know, she got together with Del Rio, and then things got even worse from there because obviously there's some personal issues going on there. Now it's like, again, like you said, you know, like if she's trying to get herself fired, though, it's like don't continue to burn your bridge.
Don't burn the bridge.
If you're going to if you want to have any other bad intentions, just get out of there.
Go
find something else. Make yourself happy.
Problem is they have her locked up in a contract, so you see the issue.
That is true.
Long term, I believe several years left on that deal.
I think it was 2019. I saw. I think that her contract expires. I think
it's a long time, and that makes matters even more tricky. So I don't know how they handle this situation, but I just hope it works out for everyone involved.
Definitely.
You want to add anything else to this, Mike, before we move on to our next topic here?
Nope. I think we all got the gist of it.
Okay, let's talk about the next topic, folks. It's going to be about here we go, John Cena. Like I said, I mentioned. Yes, you will literally not be able to see him, get it? Because as we mentioned, John Cena's hiatus is officially beginning this week. As of this writing, the last WWE event for Cena was this Saturday's live event in Phoenix, Arizona. Following that event, Cena is not being advertised for any events until Survivor Series. After Survivor Series, Cena is not being advertised until what will likely be his full return at the live event at MSG on December 26th. So, Mike, I really find it interesting that Cena will be at Survivor Series. The thing about this is, my theory is I think he'll be part of the huge, and we're going to get into it, the 5-on-5 men's singles elimination match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. That's where I think he'll be. He'll definitely be on, there for Team SmackDown. What are your thoughts on Cena leaving when he comes back? Survivor Series?
Maybe be on the Survivor Series team for the elimination match, maybe. Sure. I'm not sure at all. But it does leave you really wondering what they're going to do with him. I mean, I honestly thought he would get involved with some type of feud with Dean Ambrose after No Mercy.
Sure.
In my opinion,
we can still see that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe something did happen at Survivor Series between the two of them, because the heat's right there. I mean, they both really went at each other throughout that feud to build up for that triple threat match at No Mercy. I really enjoyed that. So I mean, even a heel Dean Ambrose on Cena, I'm completely all for that.
Now, Mike, an interesting note, I don't know if you read the article that was out there today about the possibility of WWE considering, believe it or not, turning John Cena heel. Yes, I know it's been the longest running gag in the internet, but what do you think about him possibly turning heel in maybe the next year to come? I'd love to see it. They want to get ratings. Come on. Perfect way.
I think so too. I mean, I don't know about you, but do you feel this like part-time Cena is a little different this year?
He's been look at how he's lost since he lost at Money in the Bank. Yeah, he won at Battleground, but that was the 6-man. Then he lost at SummerSlam. He wasn't on Backlash. He lost to Ambrose on SmackDown. Now he lost at the triple threat. He got pinned. I mean, look at it, folks. I'm just saying. It was interesting when I read that. But you were saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been seeing like a different side of him. Like, I mean, I know I've talked about they might be turning Ambrose heel, but if you notice at the in that first that first promo between Cena, Ambrose, and Styles, Cena was the one who pretty much more so like disrespected Ambrose first, in my opinion.
Yes.
He right away said something about that. Hey, you low blowed him too. But here's the thing: you realize Styles already low blowed him in the promo right before the at the Go Home show before Backlash. So technically, it's like he double timed on Ambrose. Styles did, and we still have not yet heard why he took off the Never Give Up wristband either. So I mean, I feel it could be happening, but I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up on it either. You know what I mean? But I mean, I am all for that as well. I mean, even if Ambrose turns heel as well, I'm all for that. But again, the only problem I have with Ambrose turning heel is who else will be like that big top baby face? Like, I wouldn't want it to be Orton or Cena like as the top
Bray
baby
Wyatt
face.
Would be great in the baby
Perfect
face.
him, Apollo Crews, who else? So,
Yeah, that would be the problem.
Right, yeah. That's the only issue I have with turning Dean heel at this point. But I do think it is possible he could use one.
Here's an idea. And I'm doing a little, I like to do these quote-unquote long-term fantasy booking. So here's an idea that popped into my mind when I heard this. I already have a scenario laid out. Folks, if you're watching live, let me know what you think of this. So, eventually Cena's going to beat AJ for his 16th World Championship. And the show that I think it should happen on, if it's going to happen, there's only one show that it should happen on. What show is that? WrestleMania. Okay. So you build to the long-awaited one-on-one rematch, Cena versus Styles. In that match, what if you do a double turn with Cena going heel, doing the long-awaited heel turn, Styles turning back babyface, boom, there it is.
I mean, obviously, Styles still even feels like a babyface. It's just that, that heel turn, I think just lit a fire underneath that people wanted to see him. Because I think one thing I like about Styles as a heel now is that I remember we were talking once that he wasn't completely solid on the mic at first. I think his mic skills really improved a lot more since they turned him heel. I feel like it might not be just a temporary heel turn, but it's it lit that fire into him. You know what I mean?
Sure. But what do you think about that idea? I mean, I think what better show, your biggest show of the year, than to do one of the most shocking turns in WWE history? I think that would you could have seen it cheat, do something very dash, something that would be outside of his element to win the 16th World Championship. Then you could have him go on, I don't know, disrespect Ric Flair. I mean, there's just ways to put the heat on him, but I would be really interested in see how they'd be able to pull it off.
Me too, definitely.
So that's a scenario. Or maybe he faces Undertaker. That's another rumor, and they could go a heel route there. But I would love to see it. I know he would kill it as a heel, and man, I just want to see it. I really want to see it.
Me too.
And with these rumors, I just found it interesting that we got these reports. And like you said, he's been losing a lot lately.
And it's nothing cheap. It's not constant interference or anything like that. It's clean finishes. And it's even Ambrose pinning him, that was that's a really cheap, clean way to have him beat Cena. It's who beats Cena that easily? Even when Del Rio beat him really cheaply, cleanly at Hell in a Cell. But that surprised me too. It's when is the last time you really see Cena losing clean that easily? When he lost to Styles cleanly at SummerSlam, that was a big hard fought.
It was a moment, and it did make it a bigger moment. When he loses. So we'll have to see. Folks. So we won't be seeing a lot of John Cena in the months to come, but it'll be interesting to see what direction he goes in once he returns. All right, let's move on. Really quick news item here.
Sure.
As you all heard, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is returning to WWE in 2017. So Chamber is coming back. It'll be interesting to see if it is a Raw or SmackDown exclusive show. I believe it'll be fall. It will fall in February. So it looks like we'll have Fastlane and Elimination Chamber. So thoughts?
Well, you see, I definitely do miss the Elimination Chamber match. I love that match, but the whole point of why they got rid of it in the first place was because they felt that having a major event in between the Rumble and Mania kind of didn't really feel right. I was okay with the way they had it in 2015, but if you're going to bring it back, I'd say either, I don't know, name the pay-per-view something different, or just have the Elimination Chamber match during another pay-per-view. I even thought they should have it at Battleground or something like that. A war game. But I don't know, I just don't like that it's still in between the Rumble and Mania. I'd rather have it somewhere different.
Or just have the gimmick, quote unquote, not tied to a pay-per-view. Come up with your own freaking original name. Get rid of Hell in a Cell. In a Chamber, I feel like it's lazy. It's like a crutch. Oh, it's October. What time is it? Hell in a Cell time. So they force cram a feud that really doesn't deserve to be in Hell in a Cell into the Hell in a Cell. And my feeling is it waters the gimmick down. I like when it comes out of nowhere. It's at the next pay-per-view, we're going to have an elimination and it's whoa, okay. I didn't see that coming. It makes sense. It's the right time. I mean, that's how Hell in a Cell used to be. Hell in a Cell, it's going to be the be-all, end-all. It's going to blow off the feud, but Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's way too many obviously, there's way too many pay-per-views as it is, and
Right.
I don't really think there needs to be a pay-per-view, to be honest, between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. In my opinion, there really only needs to be 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year, but I look at that from an old-school mentality. Less is more. So I would, because look at NXT. How many pay-per-views do they have a year? 4 or 5. 5 max, and they just feel more special. And just real quick on the topic here of pay-per-views, I mean, I understand they're doing the brand split. I would love if they just did, here's what I wish they would do. Okay, why not just alternate one every other month between Raw and SmackDown? That's what I wanted, instead of 2 every month. And I'm already feeling like we're getting burned out on it. I mean, that's how I would do it. But, yeah, I mean, just a minor gripe there with the oversaturation. But we'll have to see. But most likely this will be in February. So, yeah.
Right.
Let's talk about, here we go, folks, viewership for Monday Night Raw. The numbers have rebounded since their ultra low from the week of the presidential debate. That was the September 26th edition of Raw. This week's edition of Raw averaged 2.758 million viewers. It's down slightly from 2.797 million. The first hour averaged 2.790, second hour averaged 2.876 million, and the final hour averaged 2.610 million viewers. So while the numbers have improved, they are still below 3 million viewers, and it's always interesting to see that third hour continue to it drops every.
Yeah.
I don't think it's risen one time since. The only time it did was, correct me if I'm not, was the March 14th Raw that we went to in Pittsburgh. That was the only time the third hour actually increased. So it's a running thing here, but cut the third hour off and spare us all the torture every week. But they're not going to, so.
Nope.
Anything you have to say about the numbers for Raw this week, Mike?
I mean, definitely glad that they've gone up a little bit. I think the show has picked up a little bit. Still not quite where it should be, definitely. Well, of course, as you keep saying, go back to 2 hours, because 3 hours 1 week is just too much. They give too much also, as I've said several times. I even said in that one comment I left for your how to make Raw great again. They just present too much in one show, and they have nothing else for like the upcoming weeks to come. You know what I mean?
Sure. They blow their load.
Go back to 2 hours, spread it all out. One 3 hour episode of Raw could easily take a part of like 3 different episodes of Raw. You know what I mean? Sure.
You could spread that content out dramatically, but I hope one day it does, but it doesn't look like any time. Maybe once the contract negotiations come up with USA. I don't think that's until 2018, I want to say. So we'll see.
2 more years, guys.
Yes, 2 more years of torture. But let's move on here. Here's an interesting note about the Raw Cruiserweight Division, folks. According to F4W Online, while WWE did strictly weigh the talents for the Cruiserweight Classic over the summer, WWE is reportedly not weighing the talents for the Raw Cruiserweight Division. In related weight class news, Brian Kendrick was billed at $150 during the CWC, but he was announced at $170 on Raw last night. Dave Meltzer speculated that the Cruiserweight changes on Raw are likely a Vince McMahon thing, as he had nothing to do with the CWC, but of course still strictly running the show on Raw. As noted, Noam Dar was backstage at last night's Raw, but was not used. WWE does have plans to use Dar in the Cruiserweight division, but it's unknown when he will make his TV debut. With regards to permanent Raw Cruiserweight talent, it's believed that Ariar Daivari, along with Sin Cara, will be a part of the division going forward. Tony Nese and Drew Gulak, who competed on Raw last night, are still appearing regularly for Evolve as part of WWE's talent exchange deal with the WWN Live. Your thoughts, Mike, on what was said here, how the Cruiserweight division is going so far, in your opinion?
It's definitely not as exciting as the Cruiserweight Classic altogether, pretty much. No. I mean, it's been better. I mean, the match show that Perkins and Kendrick had at Clash of Champions really worried me big time, because that was just a really slow dragging match. It's just like I just hope that now that Vince has a little more control over it, I just hope he doesn't take like too much away from them. You know what I mean? It's like, what would be the point of taking them straight to Raw right away if they're going to be watered
down?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, if that's the case, then should just put them all in NXT first before they came up. I mean, most of them have done a little bit on NXT. They're going back and forth, but
sure,
like seriously, like don't hurt these guys. They just put on a great show, and they have dreams of getting into the WWE where the big money is made. Why just have them go all out in this big tournament, and then just go to the WWE and just go through the motions.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. I think what they've been doing with the cruiserweights has been okay, but like you said, it hasn't really blown me away like we know that they can do on the Cruiserweight Classic. Just give these guys time. There's no excuse not to give them time. It's a 3-hour show, so it's bullshit if they don't give them enough time. But at least give us, 2 to 3 storylines for the Cruiserweight Division on Raw. I'll be happy. And put Neville in the Cruiserweight Division for goodness sakes. It's a crime.
Please do it.
So underutilized.
Why are they using him?
I know. Doing shit. They're doing the him and Sami Zayn as a tag team. The team that created forgot. That's what Stella Monster called them this week.
The team that created forgot. Yes, exactly.
But seriously, Neville showed up this week. I'm like, oh shit. Remember, I was like, oh shit, Neville's on Raw. What a moment for this young upstart. He might make another appearance in 2 years.
My goodness. Maybe they'll put Braun Strowman with them and make that stable that they wanted to make for CM Punk before the Shield actually came along. That's a little joke just throw out there really quick.
Sure, but it's like, for the love of God. I mean, I'm happy they put Sin Cara in the Cruiserweights, but Neville deserves to be in the Cruiserweight. Hell, he should be the freaking face of the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
If you're going to put him in there, I would totally be for that. There's just, I want to see them continue to push the Cruiserweight. They can be a great part of Raw. They can really help, keep the show from dragging, which is why I was in favor of it being on a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So give them time. Allow them to go out there and just have great matches. Do little video packages explaining who they are. This shit ain't hard to do, folks. And they will get over in the long run. And give us compelling issues between them. I like what they're doing with Perkins and Kendrick. I look forward to their match at Hell in a Cell. And I agree. Neville versus Perkins, it's a feud I want to see.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see that. It would be awesome. It would be tremendous. And I believe I tweeted that at him and TJ Perkins, and he did like my tweet. So even he's on board for it. So, yeah. Anything else, Mike, you want to add about the Cruiserweight division before we move on to our next topic?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, here we go, folks. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, they laid down the challenge this past Tuesday at Smackdown Live. And, of course, you all know they proposed 3 major elimination matches at Survivor Series. I was a huge fan to hear this. And Shane and DB both proposed a traditional 5-on-5 elimination match featuring SmackDown's top stars against Raw's top stars. They also proposed a 5-on-5 elimination match pitting SmackDown tag teams versus Raw tag teams. And finally, they proposed a traditional 5-on-5 elimination match pitting SmackDown's 5 best women against Raw's 5 best women. Thoughts on this? I'm a huge fan, as you all know. It's been at least 2 years now since we've had a meaningful Survivor Series elimination match. Last year's was shit. It was thrown together at the last minute. Yeah, I could have booked a better Survivor Series elimination match last year sitting on the toilet. That's no joke, folks. But, Mike, what are your thoughts on the announcement of this match? I think it will greatly bring back the prestige of an elimination match. I love the idea of Raw versus SmackDown will help fill out the card. And if we're getting Goldberg and Lesnar at that show, Survivor Series is shaping up to be a pretty good show.
It better be. Don't do what you did last year and build it so great, then blow it all off at the show itself. But we're in 2016 now, so don't worry about that. But
yes,
I definitely like these matches. At first, I would scratch my head a little bit at them because I'm thinking, do we have enough depth for all 3 of those matches to take place? But at the same time, it will give the opportunity to, bring more depth out of some of these people who just aren't getting much of a shot yet. Like the one thing I'm a little disappointed with SmackDown yet is they've done a great job with the women. Don't get me wrong. But why aren't they doing the same thing with the tag team division? Like, how many tag teams have you really been seeing, really excelling on SmackDown besides the Usos of Heath Slater and Rhino and American Alpha? Like, they're not really, treating other tag teams. Like, they're not treating that division the same way they're treating the women's division. I want to see that also in the tag team division. And this match right here could easily help some of those guys. Like, Hype Brothers. I mean, the Hype Brothers are one I think are on, like, the borderline. Like, they're almost there. They're a hump, but they're not
fun
quite there
team.
yet. Yeah. The Ascension, for crying out loud. Please do something with them. They were amazing in NXT.
Longest reigning NXT tag team.
And then they come up and become complete jokes. Like,
Yep.
come on. They should be like as dominant as the club as well should be as well. You know what I mean?
Let's not go there.
Yeah, definitely not there. But yeah, you know, they should be like the badasses doing the stuff that, you know, they should be doing. And then, you know, like, even, you know, someone, please just help Tyler Breeze. Like, even just take him away from Fandango. Because,
sure, they're not doing anything with him anyway. Make him a singles.
Why did they bring him up if they made him go, like, what, 0-50 or something like that? Like,
we're going to bring him
nothing.
up, and then we're going to bury him.
like, what the heck was that all about? Like, that just makes me mad.
It's dumb, because this company doesn't long-term plan shit. But the point being, folks, is we're really, for the first time in, 2 years, I feel like I'm really looking forward to Survivor Series. Because last year we were looking forward to it going in, but we all know that debacle, how that turned out. But this year, I love the idea. It makes sense with the brand split, Raw versus SmackDown. And, you know, I'm going to be doing a fantasy booking Survivor Series video, so I don't want to spill the beans on who I would like to see in those matches. But
sure,
you think you could give them between 20 to 30 minutes per elimination match? I mean, this could easily fill out a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be worried about, you know, depth on the card. You throw in a cruiserweight match. Maybe you have an IC title match thrown in there. But, yeah, I mean, and then Goldberg versus Lesnar. I don't know if they would do world title matches on this show.
Or if they would have put any of the champions in any of the tag matches.
If it's the best, wouldn't logically they want to be in the match representing the shows?
Right, yeah.
So I'd be okay if they pull double duty. I don't know what they do, because then their opponents, if they're having separate world title matches, the opponents wouldn't be. See how there would be an issue there. So I think they would just have all hands on deck, give these matches plenty of time, and there's 3 of them, so you know the tag match might be a clusterfuck, but I'm really looking forward to Survivor Series, Mike, and it's been a long time since I've said that.
Oh yeah.
So anything else you want to say about Survivor Series before we move on?
Nope.
Hey, let's deviate here, folks. We're gonna go off the road a little bit, but we're gonna get right back on it. Ronda Rousey, I wanted to throw this in here. I'm a huge fan of Ronda Rousey. It has been announced that her UFC return fight has been announced, and she will return to the Octagon at UFC 207 on Friday, December 30th at T-Mobile Arena in fabulous Las Vegas. Rousey will face the 13-4 Amanda Nunes at the event, headlined by Cain Velasquez versus Fabricio Verdum. During today's edition of The Herd with Colin Cowherd, UFC President Dana White announced the fight and offered the following comment. The thing that everybody has been waiting for a good year, Ronda Rousey is back. Ronda Rousey is going to be back. She will fight December 30th for the title in Vegas against Amanda Nunes for the title. Rousey, who is 12-1 in her UFC career, has not fought since she lost to Holly Holm via knockout back in December 2015. Was really interested to see when Ronda Rousey would step back into the Octagon and fight again after her, you know, huge loss last year that really nobody saw coming. Got knocked out by Holly Holmes. Just looked like a complete mess. It will have been roughly almost a year and a month since she will have fought once she steps into the Octagon on December 30th. I will certainly be watching that fight. I will give you my thoughts on that when it happens. Like I said, huge Ronda Rousey fan. Mike, any thoughts you want to say? I know you don't really watch UFC, but I know you do know who Ronda Rousey is. And
yes,
anything you want to add?
It just sounds like it's a long way to return as well, and it seems like it's like a good timing as well for it to happen. You know, it's someone who was like, what, you said 12-0 before she suffered her first loss.
Yes, undefeated until that moment. I mean, it was shocking. It was like, whoa.
And it's like, you know, people wonder, you know, when she'll be back and stuff. You know, like, will she still have it or something? You know what I mean? I mean, again, I don't have too much to say because I don't really watch much UFC, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really look forward to seeing Ronda Rousey hopefully get back in there and kick some ass.
Sure.
All right, folks, let's move on to this is a rough bit of news. Back in the pro wrestling news here. Poor Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami. Folks, you knew we were going to get to this article. He suffers another injury at an NXT live event. He is out of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, WWE NXT star Hideo Itami injured his neck at a recent NXT live event. He could be out of action for several months. The injury occurred when Itami took a power slam during a tag match on the 1st of October. A Tommy team with Shinsuke Nakamura to take on Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli. Tommy and Kota Ibushi were recently announced as a team in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and he will not participate in that, and his replacement is going to be TJ Perkins. So really, really, really was disappointed to share this news with you, Mike, this past week. I was like, son of a bitch. The guy just came back from, being off almost, 15 months, 18 months?
Yeah, over a year, yeah.
With botched shoulder surgery. I mean, and I was listening earlier to Saul Monster's podcast. He was talking about how Balor winning the title in Japan, that probably would have been a Tommy.
Probably.
Think about it. It was being set up. He was on the rise. He was going to win the title from Kevin Owens in his home country of Japan. And what happened? He got hurt. And then he comes back. Long awaited return. We're like, all right, Hideo's back. He's got this fire, this passion, this intensity. We're going to be getting a feud between him and Austin Aries at TakeOver Toronto. And then this happens. We don't know how long he's going to be out. But I'm worried this is not good, guys. I'm worried that this might, we might not see Hideo make it to the main roster, and maybe he's 35. Keep that in mind. I don't know. I don't know what's next for him, Mike. What are your thoughts? Because I'm just at a loss of words.
I mean, me too. I mean, I saw very little of Tommy before he came back. I saw a little bit, and you raved at me about him a lot. So I mean, I knew he had a great talent, different style, Japanese wrestler in the WWE, something different, doesn't really see much. And, the hype they had for him and Aries feud was amazing. And like you said, he's probably way, way, way overdue to be an NXT champion. Probably could have been up on the main roster right now. Probably maybe both him and Balor could have been there.
Yep.
But I mean, I think I actually didn't even see the video that someone posted somewhere online of a Tommy getting the power slam on his neck, and didn't look good. So
nope.
I really do hope for the best. This is a guy who's getting very unlucky and getting a lot of time taken away in his career where he could have already been a really huge star, and he already is.
Do you think he might go back to Japan? I mean, just say enough's enough. Didn't work out for me here. I mean, I could see it.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, I still think he's still trying to at least come back here. It doesn't sound like he's unhappy or anything like that. You know what I mean? I could see him maybe trying to come back, but maybe he just needs to get somewhere else, too. Because I
feel bad for the guy. I mean,
me too, definitely.
If this happens in sports, we see it. And this guy, some guys are just injury prone, and from the look of disappointment that I saw on his face, you could tell he was so upset. And they're going to Japan. NXT is in December. And he did vow, whether being able to compete or not, he will be in Japan for NXT. So that's an encouraging sign. But we don't know how long he's going to be out for. We'll obviously get more updates in the weeks.
Yeah, hopefully not too long.
Yeah, days to come. So rest up, and we hope you heal up, Hideo. Sucks to hear.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, let's get into some more ratings news. Let's talk about SmackDown Live.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the fallout from No Mercy and the tag main event. And this was some good news. The number was up 5.7% from last week's show. Last week averaged 2.316 million. This week's averaged 2.448 million. SmackDown ranked number 6 for the night in viewership behind Baseball, Hannity, The Kelly File, and The O'Reilly Factor. So, yeah, encouraging sign to see. While I thought this week's episode of SmackDown was still average, but I was really happy to see this number continue to climb, and I really hope that they beat Raw in the ratings, as you do, Mike. So,
oh yes,
yeah. Hopefully, we continue to see this number continue to go up, up, up. Once more people, obviously changing nights. It's difficult for people to get acclimated for so long. They were on Thursdays, and they went to Fridays, and they went back to Thursdays. Now they're on Tuesdays. So hopefully the longer, SmackDown continues to establish itself on Tuesdays, the more its fan base will continue to grow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you still have some of those fans who are still in that stage where they didn't want to watch SmackDown at all because it was pretty much an episode of like Superstars or something like that in 2 hours. You know what I mean?
It didn't matter.
Right. So now it's like, we're slowly seem like it's starting to get more of an audience because I used to all the time, watch SmackDown, solid 2-hour show. I mean, it's been a little average the past week or so. I mean, it could maybe be because, Raw is picking up a little bit, and we're getting a little more enjoyment out of that than we were before. But still, it's like SmackDown's worth the watch now. It's not a joke like it was a couple months ago.
No, it ain't. So this is just good news. And speaking of major news, as you folks all know, here's some details about Bill Goldberg, who's, of course, returning to Raw tomorrow night. So fucking excited for that. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that Goldberg's deal to return to WWE for a match with Lesnar was put together in the last few weeks, but it was not finalized until about a week ago. The plan for now is just for Goldberg to wrestle one match, although that could change based on the crowd reaction. This year's Survivor Series pay-per-view will be held in Toronto, where Goldberg has always faced a negative reaction. And following up on this, folks, tie this together. As noted in this following article, Bill Goldberg has been announced for 2 more Raw tapings, in addition to returning tomorrow night. He will be appearing at the October 31st and November 14th editions of Raw, with the 11/14 edition, of course, being the final Raw before Survivor Series. Lesnar is scheduled to return on the 24th of Raw in Minneapolis, and he will be appearing on the November 14th edition of Raw. Lesnar Goldberg seems like it is definitely going to be happening for Survivor Series. Huge match. I'm really looking forward to seeing Goldberg returning tomorrow night on Raw. Really excited for it. It's been over 12 years. This will be the first time I, as a fan, and Mike as well, have ever seen Goldberg. We didn't watch back in the heyday of when he was going through people saying who's next, kicking ass, hitting the jackknife, just being a dominant, uncontrollable, unstoppable badass on Nitro, WCW. But, this should be – I really hope Goldberg and Lesnar go out there. And I know they had one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history at WrestleMania 20. I want them to just give us a good, solid, kick-ass fight. As Paul Heyman said, give us a fight. Give us the match that we know that we want to see from these two guys. And we'll forget all about – we'll try and forget about WrestleMania 20. But, yeah. Mike, your thoughts on Goldberg coming back, feuding with Lesnar at Survivor Series, the whole ordeal going on?
It sounds great to me. I mean, maybe the main event, probably Survivor Series, most likely. But I think wasn't the reason why that their match at Mania stunk was because of the fact that they knew that both of them were going to be leaving anyway or something. I forgot what the whole story about that was behind that. But now it's like we don't know what's going to happen to them now. It's been 12 years in the waiting. To come back, make it all right again, just go out there and just destroy each other. These are two guys who are similar in size probably. It's somebody different for Lesnar. It's not someone who we can easily see Lesnar squashing up on. These are two guys that are going to literally bring the best out of each other. I'm really excited to be seeing this match at Survivor Series.
Sure, and Goldberg said, besides the money, he also wanted to wrestle so his son could see him perform. So I think, wouldn't that be enough motivation to go out there and put on a good match? I certainly think so. So
I agree.
With that in the back of our minds, let's hope Goldberg and Lesnar deliver at Survivor Series. Interesting question here in the chat box. Someone asked, the question is, who will beat Lesnar? It's been a long time since he has been pinned. Yes, it has. I'd love to see Cesaro be the one to beat Lesnar.
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Somebody who's not going to obviously destroy somebody like Lesnar. You know what I mean? Someone who is really going to have to work for it. You know what I mean?
He's been built up so big, so bad. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Balor, I don't know.
I'm not sure about that one for some reason. Yeah, that's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Size-wise, I mean, yeah.
It'd be like David and Goliath, unbelievable, but still, I don't see it happening.
Okay, but yeah, Joe. I'd love to see either Joe or Cesaro. Those are two guys off the top of my head.
What about KO?
Owens, yeah. Sure, I mean,
I wouldn't mind it.
It's just, I'd love to see the Kevin Owens from NXT face Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, I still think, not the main roster Kevin Owens. The Kevin Owens from NXT that was just a psychopath, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Interesting question there. So thank you for asking it. Let's get on to some more news. Little spoiler alert here, although technically WWE already spoiled this on their social media accounts. So if you don't want to hear, you can mute the audio right now. But if not, here we go, folks. This is NXT TakeOver spoiler news. You've been warned. Former WWE Women's Champion is returning. Of course, as you all know, William Regal announced that Mickie James will be returning, to the shock of everyone, to face Asuka for the NXT Women's title at TakeOver Toronto, in addition to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Samoa Joe happening for the title at TakeOver, which will probably get a stipulation. So, yeah, this was certainly surprising, caught me off guard, as it did you, Mike. I was a huge fan of Mickie James during her time in WWE. Really happy to see her back for this one match on NXT. Hope it translates to her being signed to the main roster again, whether it's on, I feel they would need her more on Raw at this point than SmackDown, women's-wise, but hopefully that happens down the line. But, Mike, your thoughts on Mickie James returning to face Asuka for the championship?
Sure, yeah. I mean, Mickie James, like what? How many times a women's or Divas champion was she again?
Multiple
times. Yeah, definitely. Her had with the experience, facing against Asuka. I mean, right now, like you've been saying on your NXT reviews, the NXT is going through a little bit of like a rebuilding stage, especially in the women's division. I mean, I see play potential, but they're all not ready. Not ready yet. But put someone in like Mickie James who has the experience. It's not going to be. And not going to turn Asuka's match at TakeOver into like a squash match. You know what I mean? Give it to somebody who's going to actually put up a good fight against her.
Sure, and I think this could help. I'll give Asuka a credible opponent, obviously Mickie James, and eventually, a little long-term booking here. You would assume at Dallas that would set up for Ember Moon. She would be ready by then to face Asuka, win the title from Asuka at Dallas, and yeah, you go from there. Asuka have a year-long reign with the title. Give the belt to Ember Moon, and then we'd probably see Asuka come up in the draft. I mean, you just see how NXT, I love how they long-term plan what they do, and that's the direction that I see them going, because I thought they would go with Ember Moon versus Asuka until this announcement. So to me, that is probably the path that they are going to take.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure they would do Ember Moon and Asuka yet. I just felt like Ember a little more time. I felt like it would have been a little too soon for that. So, I mean, I'm fine with them bringing back Mickie James to face her. Again, it's not like it's going to be like a squash match for Asuka. No. It's going to be a credible match.
It's going to be a really good fucking match. Yes. So I can't wait for it. I can't wait for Survivor Series weekend. It is shaping up to be a good one, folks. So, yeah, let's get into the final aspect of this podcast. Some Raw talking points and SmackDown talking points. The interesting thing on Raw, of course, as you all know, 3 Hell in a Cell matches were confirmed officially for the pay-per-view. I know we have a gripe about that. As you all know, Rusev versus Reigns was already confirmed for the Cell. Owens versus Rollins is going to be in the Cell. And the big one, Sasha versus Charlotte inside Hell in a Cell.
Thank you, Lord Jesus.
It's going to happen, folks. October 30th, 2 weeks from now. Out of all those matches, and I agree it's way too many, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Mike, which one do you think should main event the pay-per-view?
Give it to Sasha and Charlotte, please. Just do it. It's a historic match. The other two ones, I mean, again, one of them, I still feel that Reigns and Rusev shouldn't have been in Hell in a Cell. I still don't really think either Owens and Rollins weren't quite capable of it either, honestly.
It hasn't gotten to that point.
Right.
I mean, give it a stipulate, like a falls count. I don't know, something else,
Yeah, definitely that. But
to me, yes.
Just do it. Give them the main event. This is going to be like, the biggest story being talked about this pay-per-view. Not Roman Reigns, not the Universal title, unfortunately, but it's going to be about the Women's Championship.
Now, Mike, did you hear about the rumor? I pray to God that this is a rumor. That Charlotte would climb on top of the Cell and do a moonsault off of it.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I mean...
No, I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see anybody get severely hurt unless, they are pretty confident, but that's a huge risk.
Just a little bit? I mean, you think I know they're going to do something crazy. I just hope to God, with Sasha being injury-prone, it almost seems like I just want to see everybody walk out of this Cell match alive.
Yes, definitely. Stay inside, throw people through tables, hit with chairs, even with steel steps. Use weapons, but don't risk your life.
No, I'm worried that they're going to want to, though, because it's the first women's Hell in a Cell. But I heard that Vince shot that idea down, which is a good idea. I agree.
Good.
You don't have to do that. Please don't kill yourself. Seriously.
Right. Like even Shane doing it at Mania was even risky. I almost couldn't watch it first. I'm like, oh, please.
Oh my God. I mean, even with the table being gimmicked and whatnot, to protect his impact, it still could have went wrong. I mean,
you never know what could happen. Like, that's a really risky jump to do.
Sure, and of course we'll probably get Michael Cole. If you go back and watch WrestleMania freaking 32, he had to read off his freaking scripted thing, his papers, to call that spot with Shane Joe. I don't know if you ever noticed that. It was awful. He sucks. Like, you really had to read off a piece of paper to emote that?
To specify that he jumps from top of a cell. It's like, you get excited, like, oh my God, holy crap. It's like, whatever the heck he said. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'm pretty positive that it sucked.
You literally see him. He's reading off the paper. I'm like, seriously? When JR, you remember, good God Almighty, he has been broken in half. Where's the emotion? Where's the passion? Speaking of emotion and passion, if you want to see good commentary, check out my episode of Monday Night Raw from 2K17. Blows away any of the commentary from Raw the past couple of years. But plug aside, it's just like, I wish we had good commentary for this match. I mean, seriously, I'll just do my own like I did last time. It's just like, I miss good I wish JR would call this match. He would do it justice.
Which you just do commentary from home or something like that. Have that take over what goes on the show. You know what I mean?
Sure, I'd love to upload live commentary. But getting back on track here.
Right,
3 matches for Hell in a Cell. I agree.
Too much.
We're both too many. It's too many. And why stop there? Put them all in the cell. Every single.
Right.
Waters it down. I think 2 max. Okay. 3. They did this before. Yeah, in 09.
Especially when it's like none of them feel like they should even be inside of there. You know what I mean?
Except for, Rusev Reigns, you could argue because they've been feuding a while, but But Sasha and Charlotte is the one that should be, to me.
Right.
The Universal title now.
Nah, that has not really been built to it.
Ultra brought up, remember Michael Cole's great call? The streak is over.
Oh, my goodness. It should be.
I knew somebody was going to bring that up.
It should be like, holy crap, the streak is over. What
the Undertaker! No. We just get the streak
is over.
Wow.
At least he had the great call that night whenever Bryan won the title.
That was great. See that? You know why? Because Vince left the building.
Yeah, you pointed it out to me the other week. Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Triple H was in his ear that night.
See, so Michael Cole can be a good commentator. It's just he has a freaking mad, raving lunatic who's at the age of 70. And no, I'm not referring to Donald Trump. Okay. I have to get that dig in there. Let's move on, folks, before I create any controversy. Let's talk about, we had the announcement of Cesaro and Sheamus versus the New Day at Hell in a Cell for the Tag Team Championships. Should be a good match, but I just don't see Cesaro and Sheamus beating the New Day here for the titles.
No. The only way I will actually accept this is if it just finally leads to Cesaro going over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because obviously, why would he be happy about this? Why? No. They're going to make him look like a stupid idiot if they actually make him like, hey, Sheamus, we actually could do something. No. You know what? Actually, getting back to earlier when I was saying my worries of why Ambrose shouldn't turn heel, put Cesaro on SmackDown, make him the
build
face.
Him up.
There
Bingo.
You go.
Woo!
Sami Zayn. There you go.
Bingo.
There you go. Not the stupid tag match.
Awful.
Oh my goodness!
Awful.
I wanted to give it a chance at first, but they threw into a squash match right away. And me like, you know what? Why was I even pumped for that? What the hell was I thinking?
Exactly. So hopefully Cesaro goes on SmackDown. Interesting here. I like the fact that we might be getting a feud between the Club and Enzo and Cass.
Yes.
This is something I'd be interested in. Obviously, we need to build the Club back up, and putting them against a credible team like Enzo and Cass, I feel, would be the way to go. In the long run, like you said, here's my scenario. I would have them go over on Enzo and Cass in the feud, build them up as credible threats once again, and have them beat New Day for the tag titles like they should have at Roadblock, because New Day breaks the record, then put the belts on somebody else then.
Yes.
And
you know where I think that should lead further after that, though? Enzo and Cass win the titles at Mania. Boom.
Sure.
Do that.
Okay.
If you're going to keep like that, start this feud having the club being the thorn and Enzo and Cass as side. They kind of started already over the summer in that battleground match. You know, they technically their team won, even though Cena pinned Styles, but still, if you want to save them to have their big moment, do it at Mania. These guys are so over. They are so entertaining. They deserve it.
Enzo and Cass, yes.
You know, don't
They
throw them into
better.
another Shining Star matches again with them. I'm sick of seeing all those matches. Ugh.
No. Come to Puerto Rico.
Where's Carlito?
I don't care. But Vince loves it, so we have to do this shit. Toilet humor.
Ugh.
Yay. Yeah, nobody cares. But yeah, I think this could be a positive for both guys. Give something for the club to do, and it finally give something for Enzo and Cass to do.
Please.
Yes. Also on Raw, of course, as we mentioned, Paul Heyman returned. Cut a fucking awesome promo like Paul Heyman does. Goldberg's coming back tomorrow night on Raw. So excited. I know Blake can't wait as well. And then finally, I thought we had a really solid main event versus Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins. Really good match. With the stipulation being that Jericho would be entered into the Hell in a Cell and it would become a triple threat. Somehow I still see Jericho getting involved. And the interesting thing was Owens left Jericho take another pinfall. He got hit again with the pedigree. So the one thing, I hope Raw continues to do this. Continue to plant seeds for long-term stories. Yes. Owens versus Jericho.
At Survivor Series.
Well, or afterwards. If they're going to all be in the big match, okay, we can hold off on that. But that you know what I mean? So I like what they did there. So overall, I enjoyed Raw this week. Anything else you want to say about Raw before we move on to SmackDown?
No, I'm good. I'm going to move on.
Let's talk about a couple things on SmackDown Live. It looks like Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. I think they'll have definitely one more match to blow up the feud. Maybe a ladder match.
That's possible, yeah.
Maybe it's Survivor Series. Maybe they won't be. See, it all depends on who's going to be in the SmackDown Live elimination match. I'd love to see them. They've had amazing freaking matches, and they just have great chemistry.
Yeah.
And like I said, one more match I definitely see. And do you see that going in Ziggler's favor? And then he has a nice little run with the title before possibly dropping it to maybe a Samoa Joe or whatnot, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say give it to Ziggler give him a little bit of a reign. I mean, I don't know, just the hype they had behind that career-threatening match. Why
it's
not?
Like, where do they go from here, though?
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of where do they go from here, we also had on this show James Ellsworth versus AJ Styles. I loved what they did here, as you know I did. Just good stuff here. And out of this, with Dean Ambrose being the crazy special guest referee, it's making me laugh my ass off.
Oh, so, that was hilarious.
Yes, it was. Next week, Mike, I'm sure you've heard, it's going to be Ellsworth versus Styles for the WWE Championship.
That really is like a very it's obvious. It'd be funny if James Ellsworth did win it, but
he's not. But you know what? Hey,
it's there for the fun, but it does make you wonder what's really going to happen during that match.
Sure. And
is Ambrose going to try to cost AJ Styles the championship to see if James Ellsworth would win it, but I don't know. It's it seems like something ridiculous is going to happen, but it's just going to be a funny thing to watch. I'm
going to enjoy it. I really am. I enjoy SmackDown every single week.
Yes.
And finally, we had the Wyatts versus Orton and Kane. It's decent match. I don't know. I mean, this feud between Wyatt and Orton has been okay. I don't know. The Wyatts, I feel, need to finally win a freaking feud. Because if they lose this feud, what the hell?
Right.
It's frustrates me.
Again, I'm glad still that wasn't the most amazing match, but I'm glad Wyatt finally won a pay-per-view, but they can't just take that one time and just be like, okay, he won, let's give Orton the next win back. No. Orton has nothing to lose at this point. He's
the man.
He's a Hall of Famer, pretty much.
Yes.
Get him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's around for a little while longer. Keep him in that I don't give a crap mood not as much anymore as it was after his feud with Lesnar ended. But
sure.
Still, what does he have to gain here? Let Bray win a feud,
Please, please, please,
and not
please.
just Bray, but the rest of the Wyatt family members as well.
Yes. Interesting fact here before we go off the air. Did you know that Ellsworth versus Styles for the WWE title will be the first title match without a Shield member since Lesnar versus Cena at Night of Champions 2014?
That is true. I did not think of that.
Wow. So it will certainly be history in the making come Tuesday on SmackDown. So
I mean, I'm actually a little kind of happy about that, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I love all three guys in the Shield, don't get me wrong, but it's like, they've been the center stage for like, what, 2 or 3 years now? I think it's time we move on, like, got a couple different fresh faces in the main event picture, you know what I mean?
yes, absolutely, because fresh is always good.
Yes.
So that's it, folks. That is the episode 5 for the Giza Wrestling Report. I want to say, Mike, thank you for joining me for this edition. We had a great conversation here.
Sure thing.
And, of course, you can get a plug-in for your channel.
Yeah, of course. So, as usual, my channel is DaClubOfDaMan1993. I just do all sorts of things just for my own benefit, just for my own fun. You know, I do some video game Let's Plays. I do wrestling videos on, like, any just decent topics that come up, or I do one right before pay-per-view. I make my predicted match cards, which I'm going to probably make my NXT TakeOver Toronto one soon in the coming weeks, but if you want to check my channel out, it is DaClubOfDaMan1993.
All right, good stuff. And thank you all for tuning into this live review, everybody who commented in the chat box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure, guys, tomorrow night I'll be up here for my live review of Monday Night Raw. We're going to have a lot to talk about with the return of Goldberg. And then, of course, be back up here for SmackDown Live on Tuesday. So it should be an exciting week for pro wrestling. Of course, I'll be uploading further videos from WWE 2K17 as I continue to play that game. Be sure to add me if you have PS4, Daniel Son 2032. That is my PlayStation 4 name. If you want to hit me up, play some 2K17. I'm always willing for a challenge. So, guys, that is it for the Giza Wrestling Report. Thank you for all tuning in. Have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for Raw. Take care, guys.